waiting.
Who's on? Is it Sean?
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, May 15th, 2020. 10 a.m. That's tomorrow. Okay. The time is now 3:01 p.m. We're meeting to go over the fiscal year 21 budget for our fairgrounds. Attending is our Executive Director, Alexi Jordan, and the Board Chairman, Jerry Johnson. Attending are Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Who wishes to lead us off? Lexia?
I guess I do.
Okay.
Can I just speak?
You need to speak in the microphone. I know.
I know, everybody's
It's because the people watching
self-conscious.
can't hear you.
Oh, you do fine.
Microphones give me a fear that is unknown to most people. Okay.
Yeah.
No. So I wanted to come before you mostly because things have changed since the first time I made our budget request earlier in the year. Obviously, the fairgrounds has suffered significant lost revenue due to COVID-19. The event industry was the first to close and will be the last to open. In addition, this pandemic came at a time of year where we hold the most of our large events and generate the operating funds we need for the fairgrounds. We have done all we can to salvage and move events to make up for the lost revenue. However, that's not going to be enough. We've furloughed half of our staff, probably going to lose 2 positions through this. So that's why we're here. With this change, we would like to alter our budget request. We've had projects that need to move forward that are normally funded by our event revenue. We have deposits for fair entertainment that typically are funded by sponsorships, which are slow to come in. We have moved event ticket sales back 2 months from our normal launch date to ensure that we can confidently move forward in this trying time, which helps fund those projects we need for the fair, for setup, supplies, and much more. Finally, we are anticipating a much larger expense for our janitorial expenses this year due to precautionary measures that we want to take to keep everyone safe. So knowing that all businesses are suffering during this crisis, including our county, we would like to lessen our ask from $300,000 to $120,000. So we're asking for $80,000 for deferred maintenance, essentially. We're going to forego any projects that we had presented you with earlier in the year, put those aside to next year until we can get our revenue stream running again. The $80,000 we're asking that you just let us do what we need to do to deal with the projects we have half done or need done or what may be. And then we want to continue with that master plan because we need to create the future for our fairgrounds. You guys know we're outgrowing a lot of things during fair time, and even for our other events. If we want to be successful in the business that we're doing, which we are, we can be more successful for our future and not potentially need to come to you guys as often. So with this, we plan to, the master plan, I hope, will include a home for the county extension offices, which I know is a burden for you all, and that could take that from you. And then we need to finish our ADA platforms for the grandstand, so this funding would get us there. And in my last memo, and I still believe it now, I think this is a time for our community to move forward. We love this facility, and the community takes joy and pride in it. Our citizens need this more than ever, and an investment in us with no strings attached means you believe that we can drive this economy and improve the quality of life for our citizens here in Kootenai County. I still continue to believe that we are your heart, and we want to provide your citizens, our citizens, with a safe, fun, and place where they can make memories. And that's what we do. So that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, just to add to that, even though she says no strings attached, they would not be used for personnel or anything like that. Strictly maintenance, infrastructure, things failing, that type of thing. So just to be clear on that, because that's why we furloughed a lot of employees. We're keeping positions open, that type of thing, so. Even though we use the term no strings, some years it's been all ADA or different things, but it will still all go into the facility and not to people and that type of thing, so.
Thank you, Jerry. Any questions for Alexia or Jerry? Yes, ma'am. Dina?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Sorry.
As far as the RV park, we are slowly getting in reservations, so it is open. We've got some construction out there, and every person that has a reservation, we've worked with closely to say, you know, we might need to move, and everybody's been great about it. So hopefully, hopefully that will pick up. So it's a little slow.
Because it's kind of a different kind of scenario,
Yeah.
that might be something that can still operate.
And it is. It's just not a lot of travelers right now, but it is picking up, so that's good news.
Yeah.
We were discussing
So
that
far,
yesterday.
so far, so good, huh?
Case scenario should we be talking about if you guys need, you know, some kind of support if the fair can't be what it is or has to be
Yeah.
finished in some way?
So I think we have our Fair Board update here in the next couple weeks, and that was when I planned to kind of talk to you guys about that. I didn't want to make that a part of our ask, but yes, currently we've been dealing with Office of Emergency Management and Sheriff Wolfinger very closely, almost daily, to make sure that we're putting in measures to keep everyone safe, that we can still have a fair. And then I've got 5 different scenarios in the way the fair could roll out or may not roll out at all. So my fear is we open up the community 4th of July weekend. That is 45 days from fair approximately, and we are into a lot of contracts really deep by then. So again, everyone is telling me we should have no problem opening a fair with no social distancing measurements needed. However, we're going to still put some things in place.
And what are the exact dates of the fair?
August 26th through the 30th.
You're still about 3.5 months away.
Yeah,
Should be fine, I would think.
unless it spikes, yes. Yeah, and he felt very positive that we would be able to move forward with it, and they've been, the Office of Emergency Management, very helpful in helping us create good protocols.
Question for you.
So that was originally submitted with my first ask. That's
right
the
ahead.
list of projects that I was hoping you guys would consider. I want you to forget it.
All of them?
Yeah.
I'll come
which
back
of
to
these
you
are
with
you
them
retaining?
next year.
Total redo.
None. I will not
none
be
of
pushing
these.
forward
Okay.
any of those except for the master plan. We do have ADA seating we need to finish. We're
Good.
already bit into it when this happened. So we, like I said, furloughed employees. Again, we're losing positions, so we're gonna be short-staffed. We stopped all projects at that point in time because we had no revenue coming in, and it did not make sense to keep dipping into the reserves when we don't know what the future holds.
Okay, so basically, none of the projects that are identified on the third sheet are gonna be addressed by the 80,000.
Nope, and the only reason why I provided that, because that came with the first letter, and the first letter is in there
Right,
as well.
right. Okay, thoughts? No?
Tina has a thought.
Dina, please.
You mentioned COVID money. Tomorrow, we have a cross-functional team sitting down to talk about COVID money. And Leslie and I spoke about, you know, talking about what that means for the fair. And with the disbursement to the county, what can we use that money for to help the fair? So we will ask those questions tomorrow.
Thank you. And addressed in that letter, I'm very concerned about janitorial side of things and
Right.
hand washing stations and sanitizers. I've got them all ordered, but it's certainly a significant increase in what we've paid in the past.
Right.
And I can only sponsorship trade my way through so much.
Yeah. And the thing too is this is 120 starting October 1st. You need to get through this season now. So
Yes, yes.
that's why I'm hoping that she can get some good answers. So we threw around a couple ideas.
The other thing with that ask, depending on what, the next few months holds for us, typically you disperse quarterly. We may ask that you disperse in October, just depending on what life looks like.
Yeah.
Or between now and the end of this fiscal year, because that's when the immediate is gonna be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
receive COVID funds and we get the green light that we can
Yep.
start deploying some of those funds strategically for you.
That would be
Yeah, because I'm
incredible.
pretty sure FA,
So are you saying you would need the entire sum dispersed in October?
I'm saying potentially, depending on what it looks like. If we get to open the gates for fair and it's going to be, I personally think that people are going to be excited to come out. You know, I anticipate, the sheriff anticipates, we all think it's going to be huge. So again, we're going to do everything we can to keep people safe and let them enjoy the fair. So we might not need that all in October. We could do the quarterly thing. Say fair goes great. We're trying to recover all the events we can. We're saving in every place we can. So what was a $2 million budget for us, we're paring back as much as we can to get through these times.
How many people have you furloughed?
5
Five.
of an 8-person staff.
as your events come up, yeah.
And I presume they've all applied for unemployment?
Yes.
Which then I guess they're supposed to start seeing the checks end of May and retro to, is it the end of March? Well, we do. Is it April 1st? Okay. I don't have a problem with it. You know
Neither do
why?
I.
Because it's probably the single most uplifting event. So
That's what we want to
I'm
do.
certainly not prepared to cut this at this time. And I hope we can go forward, but I think to Dina's point, it's really all dependent on, you know, what kind of revenue we see, what happens with any COVID-related revenues or reimbursements, but this might be doable.
Yeah, because I want to say FAA and FTA have already, they're on their way.
Yes.
The money's on their way. So if this money gets on our way too, then, you know. Yep.
Yeah.
Make sure we understand completely what's coming, what it's for,
Yeah.
distribute it correctly, and then we track it closely, because right now, the FAQ page is saying, you know, it's real loose,
Yep.
but 2 years from now, they may come back and audit the whole thing, so we're just being real careful to make sure we're very specific in how we track it, just so we're ready.
Yeah.
We'll keep you in the loop as we learn stuff, because it sounds pretty critical, time sensitive, you know, like events and the biggest event coming right up.
Yeah. It's go time.
Yeah, so where we are, to Dina's point, excuse me, the airport's getting $69,000, and I guess that's due any day. Public transit, Kootenai, $4.5 million. Go figure. The state is supposed to get $1.2 billion, and the governor's planning to distribute, I think the figure's $40 million to the counties. And what are we looking at? Was it 4?
4 million. Yeah.
And the cities and the fire districts and the water districts are getting some.
They're getting their own, yeah. So,
Again, it's the
It's a-
janitorial side of things and sneeze guards and things like that we just need to keep everyone safe and let the public know that they can show up and feel safe while they're there. So those are my concerns.
okay. Anything else? Thank you. Good presentation. Public comment? None. 3:15, meeting adjourned. Wow.
Thanks, Sean.
Long and tedious
Thanks, Sean.
meeting, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.